Hey there again, folks. Welcome back to my Let's Play of Remember 11, the Age of Infinity. And we're expecting some drama here at the shelter cabin. So let's see what is there. Actually, every time we go here, we should probably expect some drama. It's getting pretty brutal here. This is no mere cold. It was so painful that my entire body jarred. Humans begin to feel pain if they are exposed to the elements for too long. Too used to the heating at Spia, my unprepared body shudders as if suddenly pulled back into reality. Well, that much was to be expected. Because I was standing in front of the cabin. Yeah, I was wondering that. Why is she outside? I had been dropped right into the middle of a violent snow. Why does he keep going outside in her body? It's a good question. I want to know. This rate I'll freeze to death, so get inside. Was Sutru trying to kill me? Panicking, I opened the door and ran into the cabin. Like they could take the wood from that door and, burn it. The situation here didn't seem to have changed. Before the transfer, Uni and I had been huddled together in the same bed, but now he was curled up in another bed. Quietly stared at my hand, which prickled with pain. My fingertips were numb and had turned stark white, having lost the coloring that blood would provide. I tried blowing on him. It had hardly any effect at all. My entire body felt heavy. Didn't have the energy to talk either. She seems rather lethargic. At this rate, I probably won't even make it through the rest of the day. I covered my entire body with a blanket. However, even the blanket had already become cold. Before I noticed, Yomogi was standing in front of me. From his facial expression, I knew that he, too, had weakened considerably. He quietly nodded. He whispered to me as he glanced toward the top bunk bed. Yomogi patted my head as he forced a smile. Yomogi looked out the window. The snow violently struck the pane. Hearing this from Yomogi, who's knowledgeable about mountains, I felt somewhat encouraged. Yeah, he knows the situation. He's totally not just saying things to make me feel better. I was honestly thankful for Yomogi's presence. I reached deep into my bed, reaching my hand under the pillow. However, I'm wondering if Satoru knows about... Yeah, Satoru, he wasn't actually clued in on that whole, yeah, if we put everything together, it'll be better, and all that good stuff. So, or if he assumed that it was hers and ate it. Probably not, though, but I wonder. The can with 3 people's shares of the rations was gone. I'm sure I left it underneath the pillow. Panicking, I looked around the area. I found it in the corner of the bed where it had rolled into the dark area on the far side of the bed. I grasped the can, feeling relieved. I jumped. Maizumi peeked at us from the top bunk. Her face was upspirited, and her voice had gotten hoarse. Maizumi may be the one who's exhausted the most strength of us all. However, her bloodshot eyes alone still had the energy to glare fiercely at us. Mayuzumi pointed her finger at the can I was holding.
まさか私に隠れて他にも食べ物。
Oh no, Mayuzumi has the wrong
違いま
idea.
す。
I think that's probably the better choice. I think. We're not like you is quite hostile. We're not an asshole like you. We try to share the food equally for. Yeah, it's a bit hostile, you know. So I'm thinking. Yeah, this is 3 of ours combined. It's probably the better option. Of course, how she interprets it can be completely different. That's also something to consider. Cause if you kind of speak to a butthole like a butthole, maybe it's like they understand the language. You speak my language. I get you. You know, if you try to be all nice, you know, they're like, I'm not used to that. You're hiding something. But we're gonna go with the not apparently hostile. Trying to be polite, civilized, nice thing.
これは私とユニとヨモギさん3人分の食料です。どうだか私だけ仲間外れにして3人でこっそりどこかに隠し持ってるんじゃないの？
Yeah, well, I mean, exactly she's saying that the food that they divided into 4s, there was extra food that they were that was being hidden or something. Is that what she's assuming?
そんなこと。
もうよせよ、マユズミ。人を疑うのはもうよせ。
Mayuzumi grew sulky and withdrew back to the far side of the bed. She may not have had the energy left to quarrel with us. Mayuzumi's weakening at a remarkable rate. I grew a little worried.
マユズミさん、どうしてそんなに反発するの？協力し合いましょうよ。私は死にたくないし、誰にも死んでほしくないの。
No response came from the top bunk. I sighed and looked over at Yomogi. He only gave a small shake of his head, as if giving up. Yeah, to be honest. The situation's probably a good idea.
食料でしたね。
When I grabbed the can, it felt impossibly light. I doubted my own eyes. The can was empty.
どうして？
There's still plenty of hardtack inside. I'd seen it just before when I ate with Uni.
なんで？誰かが勝手に食べたの？ねえ、誰なの？
I cried out loudly enough for the whole cabin to hear. Uni and Yomogi kept silent. They just quietly looked at. Oh crap! Yeah. Yeah. What were those eyes for? I heard Mayuzumi laughing from on her bed. I stood up and walked over to her bed.
おかしいんですか？
Mayuzumi only countered my challenging tone with a faint
あ
smile.
んたさ、誰が犯人かわかんないの？
Judging from her tone, Mayuzumi probably knows who did it. Just who is the culprit? Yeah, I'm thinking that Satoru ate them. That's what I'm thinking. Although he's managed not to, or did he manage not to eat at Spear? Did he give in and ate? Is that why she was drugged? Good question. Again, we shouldn't be overly hostile. We're going to not identify the culprit. We're not going to... I mean, of all of them, the obvious one is Mayuzumi. If we don't, include the possibility that it might be Satoru. I tried to think of who the culprit could be. However, I abandoned the thought immediately. This place was completely enclosed. It would be impossible for someone to just waltz in here and eat them off. Yeah, I just stopped by, there was a blizzard, and there was a cabin, and there were people in there. And I totally just walked over there, lifted up the pillow, ate the food, put it down, and walked back out into the blizzard. Yeah, not a likely story. Culprit was either Yomogi, Mayuzumi, or Uni. It had to be one of those three. It had to have been one of those three who ate it. However, I didn't want to point that out. Everybody knows that.
探しなんてやめましょう。ただでさえギスギスしやすい状態なのに。犯人探しなんてしたら余計に人間関係がこじれちゃいます。
Uh-oh. Okay. If it is Kokoro or Satoru, then that argument she just made, it can be taken in a completely different way. I said this in an earnest tone. However, Mayuzumi suddenly burst out laughing. She began laughing while holding her stomach.
お腹痛い。何がおかしいんですか。
だって犯人探しはダメですなんてこと犯人が言ってんだもん。これが笑わずにいられる
Mayuzumi glared at me with eyes of contempt. What did Mayuzumi just say?
しらばっくれるのはよしたら見てて痛いから。
何を言ってるの。
Hide it? Who is? I
あ
am?
んたよ。あんたが犯人に決まってるでしょうが。
I'm the
そ
culprit.
んなはず。
あんたしかできないことよ。食料が手元にあるあんたしか人目を盗んで食べることなんてできないんだよ。
私は食べてない。
Okay, well, I thought maybe Mayuzumi had seen the act, or actually the way that everybody was looking at her. Thought they might have seen the act too. So, yeah.
信じて。
But Yomogi and Uni didn't protect me. They only looked at me with cold, distrustful eyes.
そんな目で見ないで。
I lowered my head as if to escape their stares. No one believed me. They were trying to pin a crime on me that my body doesn't even remember committing. Even though I've been enduring the hunger all this time, it was at that moment I suddenly realized. Right now, I'm not hungry. I don't feel hunger. The hardtack I ate at noon wasn't enough to sate my hunger. I was so hungry I felt like my stomach was sticking to my back. And now, astonished, I rubbed my own stomach. I looked at Uni as if begging him for help. Uni only looked down.
ユニは信じてくれるよね。だって私たちさっきまで一緒にいたんだから。
そうだったな。ユニ、君なら見たんじゃないのか。
Uni nodded awkwardly. And then, Uni momentarily glanced in my direction. That one look said everything. Mayuzumi snorted through her nose in triumph. The inside of my mind went completely white. Why was he lying like that?
私は
As I stayed there, immobilized by confusion and shock, Yomogi came up to the bed. He looked around the bed I used as if investigating, and then he grabbed it tightly onto the
パ
blanket.
スが落ちてる。
He said shortly, his tone strained.
ベッドの表面に甲板のカスが。
A nerve-wracking shrill laugh echoed in the cabin.
あんたってさ、私なんかよりよっぽど悪い女だね。
Fell to my knees where I stood.
嘘よ。
嘘なんかじゃないわ。あんたこそずーっと私たちに嘘ついてサトルのふりをしてたの。最初からこれが狙いだったんじゃない？次はサトルのせいにでもする気？
I suddenly realized.
そうよ、サトルだわ。私が自分でも知らない間に食料を食べちゃうなんてありえない。考えられるとしたら、転移している時にサトルが勝手に食べちゃったってことくらいなのよ。彼がそんな身勝手な男だったなんて信じたくないけど。
また DID ってか。いい加減にしてくれよ。
Mogi glanced at me and clucked his tongue. He ruffled his own hair. Obvious discomfort showed on his face.
よもぎさん、
君の病気には同情するが、僕らを巻き込まないでくれよ。
違う。
何が違うんだ。
Mogi shouted
Kimi ga-
forcefully.
僕とユニの分の食料まで無断で食べ尽くした。それが現実だ。僕らは一歩死に近づいたんだ。
I ate there. I looked at Uni. He just stood there, biting his lip. He averted his eyes from me.
ひょっとして優しい性格も全部僕らを安心させるための演技なんじゃないのか。おかしなふりして僕らの食料を。
Tears began to overflow from my eyes. The already weakened bonds between the already weakened bonds between us were beginning to break apart, making a shattering sound as they did.
失言だった。
No longer bothering to look at me, Yomogi sat in the corner of the cabin and wrapped himself in a blanket. Mayuzumi only continued to laugh to herself. Uni wouldn't come near me. He sat on his bed, painfully rubbing his shoulders.
ごめんね。
I hit it too soon there. Apologized in tears, but Uni gave no reply. He pulled a blanket over his head. I was suddenly overcome with an extraordinary sense of loneliness. I'm not alone if I have comrades that will help me. That's what I had thought. Inside the hellish shelter cabin without food or fuel, there's only one hope that I could cling to. That I had my comrades here with me. That alone was what supported me. But even so, before I noticed there was no one left beside me. Everyone blamed me. I looked at the hardtack crumbs scattered across the bed. Messy as if a child had eaten it. Was it Satoru that ate it? Why? He should have known what the food meant to us. Yeah, for him to eat it all, why did he do something like that? Tears wouldn't stop. It looks like I've unconsciously come to resent Satoru. It is because of him that my faint hope of survival had
どうし
disappeared.
てなのよ、サトル。
I broke down crying on the bed. Time passed and before long night arrived. In the corner of the cabin, Yomogi was trying to communicate with the satellite phone again. However, the results had been no good as always.
電話はダメだろう。
Yomogi muttered. Everyone felt the same. The night continued on. The darkness of the night deepened quickly, and little by little it invited us toward death. Every time that happens, I keep expecting a bad ending. This game is hard. I mean, it's really not hard, but you can't know what's the right choice at any point. I guess it's actually very realistic in that sense. When you make a choice, you can think it's the best choice in the world, but it could be wrong. And you could make a horrible choice that somehow is a good thing. So I guess maybe it is rather realistic. But it's stressful, which is also realistic. So yeah, real life simulator 2011. Guess a thumbs up for me. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and end it off there though. Let's find what's gonna happen here at Svea. What choices are we gonna have to make and not know what the answers will be? Well, we know what the answers can be, but we don't know what the results of those answers are. If that was proper English, which I don't think it was. But anyway, I do hope you folks enjoyed, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Farewell there, folks.